press pause and answer the question.
This is one of the harder problems you'll see. Let's go ahead and see if we can work this out. What we want to do is we want to get the denominator the same everywhere if we can, so we can make it go away on both sides of the equation. So we have x minus 2 over x minus 3 equals x minus 1 over 3 minus x. The first thing you want to recognize is that 3 minus x, if we take that and we multiply it by negative 1, it becomes x minus 3. So if we take the numerator and denominator and we multiply both by negative 1, we can get this coveted x minus 3 denominator that we've been looking for. So we can rewrite it as x minus 2 over x minus 3 is equal to negative x minus 1 divided by negative 3 minus x. And when we run that out, we get x minus 2 over x minus 3 is equal to negative x plus 1, because we've multiplied the top by negative 1, and the bottom becomes negative 3 plus x, because we've multiplied the denominator by negative 1. And then we can rearrange these, so this becomes x minus 3. And once that becomes x minus 3, it gets a little bit happier, but it's still a mess, because of this term here is not divided by x minus 3, but we want it to be. So we're going to multiply the top and bottom, denominator and numerator of that term, by x minus 3. And so we have x times x minus 3 divided by x minus 3 minus 2 divided by x minus 3 equals negative x plus 1 divided by x minus 3. And that's where we want to be. So now we can multiply everything by x minus 3, and we can eliminate the denominators altogether. Then we have just the numerators left. We have x times x minus 3 minus 2 is equal to negative x plus 1. And we'll multiply x times x, and we get x squared, and x times negative 3, we get negative 3x minus 2 is equal to negative x plus 1. And we'll add x to both sides, and we get x squared minus 2x minus 2 equals 1. Subtract 1 from both sides, and that negative 2 becomes negative 3. Then we have to figure out how to factor that out, and that's a bit of a skill, or your calculator can do it. You'll see our calculator tutorial for that. And we get x plus 1 times x minus 3, because once we work that all out, this becomes x squared, this becomes plus x minus 3x, so that's negative 2x, and this becomes negative 3 because 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. So we have numbers that work out where this x is negative 1 and this x is 3. So you would think those would be our answers, negative 1 and 3, but again, remember I told you in a previous problem, once there's a denominator that has an x in it, you have to run the equation back through with their solutions to make sure it still works. So what we'll do is we'll say, okay, negative 1, that seems to work for the denominators. That doesn't make a denominator of 0. That's what the flag we're looking for, right? If it makes the denominator 0, then it cannot be a solution. And you see 3 is that issue. So if we put this 3 in, you see right here that denominator and that denominator become 0. And we don't want denominators that are 0. There's no solution when there's a denominator that's 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw out the 3, and the correct answer is this one, negative 1, without the addition of 3 as a solution.